There's something about a road trip with friends that feels like freedom. Windows down, music up, the world unfolding in front of you. But freedom has a dark side. These aren't stories of broken down cars or missed exits. These are stories of real trips. Just 3 of us, me, my best friend Rachel, and her boyfriend Kyle. We'd been stuck in this cycle of classes, work, and nothing but rain in Portland for weeks. Rachel found a cheap Airbnb cabin up near Devil's Bend, middle of nowhere, no cell service. But it was cheap and had a hot tub, so we booked it without thinking twice. The drive up was honestly kind of beautiful. Golden leaves, mist weaving through the trees, that smell of wet pine in the air. It felt like the kind of trip that would fix everything. But the moment we stepped onto the porch of that cabin, something felt wrong. It wasn't anything obvious, just this strange stillness, like the woods were holding their breath. Rachel joked that it felt like we were being watched. Kyle laughed it off, calling her dramatic. But I didn't say anything, because I felt it too. Inside, the place looked fine, rustic, clean enough. Wood panel walls, stone fireplace, a creaky staircase leading to a loft bedroom. Nothing creepy, at first. That night we cooked, drank a little, sat out in the hot tub until the cold started biting our shoulders. The forest around us was so dark, it looked like someone had cut the world off at the tree line. At one point, Kyle joked about Blair Witch stuff. He even made a stick figure out of twigs and hung it near the back door. Rachel punched his arm and told him not to mess around. Around midnight, we went inside. The fire was dying, and the cabin had gone weirdly cold. That's when Rachel asked, "Did either of you shut the back door?" Kyle and I looked at each other. We hadn't. Kyle went outside to check. He stood on the porch for a full minute, not saying a word. "Maybe it didn't latch," he finally said, closing the door behind him. But I could tell by his voice, he didn't believe it either. We locked everything, windows, doors, even pushed a chair up under the knob like that would stop anything. None of us wanted to admit it, but we were scared. We all slept downstairs that night, curled up on the couch with the fire going. Rachel eventually dozed off. Kyle too. But I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I heard something outside. A single, slow footstep on the porch. Then nothing. I held my breath. My eyes were open, staring at the shadows across the ceiling. Then it came again. A second footstep. I sat up and reached over to wake Kyle, but Rachel was already awake. She was sitting straight up, staring at the front door, and her face was completely white. I whispered her name. "Rachel?" She didn't answer, just kept staring at the door, like she was in some kind of trance. Then she turned to me slowly and mouthed the words, "Someone's out there." I shot up, shook Kyle awake. He grumbled at first, confused, until he saw Rachel. That look on her face, it changed everything. He got up, grabbed the fireplace poker, and moved toward the door. I begged him not to open it. I was whispering, panicking, shaking. But Kyle was trying to play tough. "It's probably some animal," he said, his voice low. He pulled the curtain back just a few inches, then stepped back so fast he almost tripped. "There's someone standing right there," he whispered. None of us moved, not for what felt like minutes, just silence. Then came a knock, not loud, just a soft, slow tap, tap, tap. The knock came again, slower this time, like whoever, or whatever, was out there, wanted us to know they weren't in a hurry. Kyle whispered, "We should call someone." But our phones were still dead. No signal, no Wi-Fi. We sat in silence for what felt like forever. Then, footsteps. Soft, shuffling footsteps circling the cabin, creaks on the back porch, a brush of something across the side window. We couldn't see them. We didn't want to. Rachel started crying, quietly, Kyle held the poker like it would actually help. And me? I just stared at the fireplace, trying not to breathe. Eventually, the noises stopped. No knock, no footsteps, just silence. We stayed up until dawn, too afraid to sleep. When the sun finally came up, Kyle opened the door. Nothing. No footprints, no broken branches, just one thing left behind, hanging from the tree across the clearing. A second stick figure. This one had hair, red yarn, just like Rachel's. My friend Tara and I rented a lakeside cabin in upstate New York to get away. It was early spring, cold, gray, but beautiful in that lonely kind of way. The cabin sat just off the water, surrounded by bare trees and mist that never seemed to lift. The lake was quiet. Too quiet. We spent most of the first day trying to get the old heater working and building a fire that wouldn't smoke us out. That night, we sat on the tiny wooden dock with blankets wrapped around us, listening to the frogs and the creaking of the trees. Then we heard it, across the water, a splash. Not an animal, not a fish. It sounded like something heavy, falling in. I stood up, staring across the foggy lake. Nothing. No boats, no lights, no ripples. Tara grabbed my hand. "Let's go inside," she whispered. Her voice was shaking, and when I looked at her, I realized she'd already been crying. Tara didn't want to talk about it. She went to bed early, said she was tired, but I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, staring out at the lake. The fog never lifted. It was still there, thick, low, alive. Around 1:30 a.m., I thought I saw something move just beneath the surface. Not an animal, not a fish. Something big, gliding slowly under the water. I pressed my face to the glass. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Faint. From beneath the floorboards. Just 3 words. "Don't wake her." My blood turned cold. I backed away, heart pounding. The heater clicked on. The lights flickered once. And then I heard something else. A second voice. This one behind me. She hears it too. I didn't sleep. I sat in a chair by the fire, staring at the door, trying to stay awake. At some point, I must have dozed off, because when I opened my eyes, Tara was standing right in front of me, not saying anything, not blinking, just staring. Her eyes looked off, cloudy, like she wasn't there. I said her name. She turned slowly and walked out the front door, barefoot. I scrambled up, grabbed a flashlight, and followed her. She walked all the way to the dock, fog everywhere. I could barely see. I called her name again, over and over. She didn't respond. She stepped to the edge of the dock and looked down, like something was calling her. I ran and grabbed her arm just as her foot started to rise. She looked at me and whispered, "It lives down there." I pulled Tara inside. She didn't resist. She didn't say anything either. Just lay in bed, facing the wall, her breathing shallow. I locked every door, every window, sat with my back to the front door, holding a kitchen knife, heart pounding. Around 4 a.m., Tara sat up. She didn't look at me, just said one sentence. I didn't come back alone. I stared at her, trying to understand. She turned to me, and her eyes were no longer cloudy. They were wide, terrified. "It's still here," she whispered. Then the floor creaked, not under us, under the bed. I didn't look under the bed. I couldn't. Tara grabbed my arm and whispered, "We have to go. Now." We ran, barefoot, into the cold morning mist, not stopping to grab a thing. The fog was thicker than ever. We couldn't see the dock. We couldn't even see the water, but we could hear it. Something breathing. Deep, slow, wet breaths coming from somewhere just beneath the surface. Then, ripples. Just ahead. Something was moving through the fog, toward us. Not walking, not swimming, just gliding. We turned and ran for the trees. Didn't stop until we reached the gravel road, breathless, bleeding, shaking. When we looked back, there were no ripples, no cabin, no dock, just the lake, flat, silent, like it had swallowed the whole thing. We never found it again. No records of the cabin, no satellite view of a dock, just a lake with no name. And when it gets quiet at night, sometimes I still hear the water, breathing.